Your mind is the most powerful tool you possess. How you talk to yourself determines your emotional state, decisions, and future outcomes. Dr. Joe Dispenza often emphasizes the connection between your thoughts and your reality. Your brain doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. Every thought you have sends a signal to your body, shaping who you are and how you experience the world. Most of us spend our days trapped in habitual, negative self-talk, not realizing that these thoughts are the building blocks of our future. But what if you could consciously choose a new way of thinking, and in doing so, create a new reality? It all starts with the way you talk to yourself. Your mind is the most powerful tool you possess, and it holds the key to shaping every aspect of your life. How you talk to yourself, those quiet, constant conversations happening in your head, determines how you feel, the decisions you make, and the outcomes you experience. The connection between your thoughts and your reality is profound, and the science behind it is undeniable. Dr. Joe Dispenza often emphasizes that your brain doesn't differentiate between imagination and reality. It reacts to what you tell it, what you envision, and what you consistently believe to be true. This means the way you speak to yourself isn't just idle chatter, it's the foundation of your entire existence. Think about it for a moment. Every thought you have sends a signal to your body. That signal triggers emotions, releases neurochemicals, and ultimately programs your actions and habits. If you're constantly telling yourself, "I'm not good enough," or "I always fail," your body will respond as if those words are facts. Your energy lowers, your confidence wanes, and you begin to see the world through the lens of that negativity. This is how most people live, trapped in a loop of habitual, negative self-talk that keeps them stuck in the same patterns, reliving the same problems and feeling powerless to change. But here's the good news: the moment you become aware of this pattern, you gain the power to rewrite it. Imagine for a moment if you could consciously choose the way you speak to yourself. What if, instead of criticizing yourself, you became your own greatest supporter? What if, instead of replaying doubts and fears, you started affirming your strengths and potential? The truth is, you can. It's not only possible, but it's also a scientifically proven way to transform your mind, your emotions, and your life. Your brain is designed to adapt. It's a master of rewiring itself. When you repeatedly feed it new, empowering thoughts, it starts to create new neural connections, replacing old, disempowering ones. This isn't just motivational fluff, it's the science of neuroplasticity. The beauty of this process is that it doesn't require years of effort to start seeing results. In as little as 3 days, you can begin to shift your internal dialogue and feel the effects. Of course, this doesn't mean all your problems will magically vanish overnight. But it does mean that within 3 days, you can begin to notice a new energy within you, a spark of hope, a sense of empowerment that wasn't there before. And that spark has the potential to ignite profound transformation. Think of your current inner dialogue as a script you've been rehearsing for years. Maybe it was shaped by past experiences, the opinions of others, or societal expectations. Whatever the source, it's important to recognize that this script isn't set in stone. You have the ability to rewrite it, to create a new narrative that aligns with the person you want to become. Every time you catch yourself thinking a limiting thought and replace it with an empowering one, you're taking a step toward creating that new narrative. You're telling your brain, "This is who I choose to be now," and your brain responds by beginning to align with that vision. This process requires awareness and intentionality. It's not about suppressing negative thoughts or pretending challenges don't exist. It's about choosing how you respond to those thoughts and challenges. Instead of letting them control you, you decide to take control. You remind yourself that you're capable, resilient, and worthy of the life you desire. You start to visualize your goals as if they've already been achieved, and you speak to yourself in a way that reflects that reality. I am strong, I am capable, I am deserving of love and success. These aren't just words, they're instructions for your brain and body to follow. When you begin to talk to yourself differently, something incredible happens. Your energy shifts, your outlook changes, You start noticing opportunities and possibilities that were always there but were hidden by the fog of self-doubt. People around you might even notice a difference, a lightness, a confidence, a calm assurance that wasn't there before. This is the power of choosing your thoughts, of becoming intentional about your inner dialogue. The first step is always awareness, becoming conscious of the way you speak to yourself and recognizing the impact it has on your life. The second step is action, choosing to replace the old, disempowering thoughts with new, empowering ones. It might feel strange at first, even uncomfortable, but stick with it. Your brain is listening, and with every positive thought, it's beginning to rewire itself. You're not just changing your thoughts, you're changing your future. So I challenge you to talk to yourself differently for just 3 days. Speak to yourself like someone who believes in you. Speak to yourself like someone who knows your potential is limitless. Treat yourself with the kindness, encouragement, and love that you deserve. 3 days of intentional, empowering self-talk can set you on a path toward a life filled with possibility. The power is already within you. All you have to do is use it. Your mind is an extraordinary tool, a dynamic and creative force capable of shaping every aspect of your life. The way you talk to yourself, those seemingly harmless, constant streams of thought, is far more impactful than you might realize. Every word, every belief, and every idea you reinforce in your mind becomes the blueprint for your future. It determines how you feel, the choices you make, and the reality you experience. This isn't just a motivational concept, it's rooted in neuroscience. The way you think and speak to yourself literally rewires your brain, sending signals that influence your body, your emotions, and your perception of the world around you. Consider this: the brain doesn't distinguish between what's real and what you vividly imagine or repeatedly tell yourself. This is a concept that has been emphasized by thought leaders and scientists alike, including Dr. Joe Dispenza, who explains that your thoughts are the language of the mind and your feelings are the language of the body. When you think a thought, positive or negative, it triggers a cascade of chemical responses in your body, aligning your emotional state to match your mental state. If your self-talk is filled with negativity, doubt, or fear, your body responds accordingly. It mirrors those thoughts, and over time, this becomes your default emotional state. But here's the remarkable truth: you have the power to change this. By shifting the way you talk to yourself, you can change how you feel, act, and live. Think about how many times a day you say something to yourself without even noticing. For most people, this internal dialogue tends to be automatic, repetitive, and often negative. I'm not good enough. I'll never succeed. Why does this always happen to me? These thoughts might seem insignificant in the moment, but they are far from harmless. They become ingrained, habitual, and ultimately shape your identity. The mind, like a garden, grows whatever seeds are planted and nurtured. Negative self-talk plants weeds, while empowering thoughts sow flowers. What you choose to focus on will grow. The question is, are you consciously choosing what you plant? Here's where the beauty of the mind comes into play. Neuroscience has shown us that the brain is neuroplastic, meaning it has the ability to rewire itself throughout your life. This means you're never stuck, never doomed to repeat the same patterns unless you choose to be. By intentionally changing the way you talk to yourself, even for just 3 days, you can begin creating new neural pathways that align with the future you want to create. It's not about ignoring reality or pretending challenges don't exist. It's about taking control of your internal dialogue and consciously directing it in a way that empowers you rather than limits you. Imagine what it would be like if you decided to speak to yourself as your greatest ally instead of your harshest critic. Picture waking up in the morning and telling yourself, I am capable of handling anything that comes my way today. Instead of dwelling on past mistakes, you say, I am learning and growing every day. Instead of fearing failure, you affirm, I am confident, resilient, and prepared to succeed. These simple shifts in language may seem small, but they create a ripple effect that can transform your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Over time, as these empowering messages take root, they become your new default, replacing old patterns of negativity. The power of visualization adds even more fuel to this process. When you combine positive self-talk with vivid mental imagery, your brain begins to treat these thoughts as if they're already true. For example, if you close your eyes and imagine yourself standing confidently in front of an audience, speaking with ease and charisma, your brain releases the same chemicals as if that event were happening in real time. This reinforces the belief that you are capable and confident. Now imagine doing this consistently for 3 days. You're not just thinking new thoughts, you're training your mind to embrace a new reality. The mind-body connection is undeniable. Positive self-talk doesn't just stay in your head, it ripples out into every part of your being. Your body begins to release neurochemicals like dopamine and serotonin, which improve your mood and increase your energy. Your posture improves, your breathing becomes deeper, and your actions align with the empowered version of yourself you're creating. People often underestimate how quickly they can feel the effects of changing their inner dialogue. Within just 3 days of committing to this practice, you may notice subtle but profound shifts: greater clarity, increased confidence, and a sense of calm and focus that replaces stress and doubt. The key to making this work is consistency. For 3 days, commit to becoming hyper-aware of your thoughts. Catch every negative or disempowering statement and replace it with something positive and affirming. It doesn't matter if it feels unnatural or forced at first. Change always feels unfamiliar before it becomes second nature. Start your mornings with affirmations that set the tone for the day. I am grateful for this day and all its possibilities. I have everything I need within me to succeed throughout the day. Remind yourself of your strengths and potential. At night, reflect on your wins and visualize the person you are becoming. The transformation begins the moment you decide to take control of your internal dialogue. You are not your past mistakes or your old beliefs. You are the creator of your reality, and it all starts with the way you talk to yourself. For just 3 days, speak to yourself as if you are already the person you want to become. Treat yourself with kindness, encouragement, and respect. You might be surprised by how quickly your mind and body respond. The power is already within you. All you have to do is unlock it. Your thoughts are the architects of your reality. Every word you speak to yourself has the power to shape your beliefs, your emotions, and ultimately your life. What you tell yourself day after day becomes the story you live, the lens through which you see the world. If that inner dialogue is filled with negativity, self-doubt, and limitation, it becomes the chain that holds you back. But when you shift your self-talk to positivity, empowerment, and possibility, those same words can become wings that lift you to heights you never imagined. Your mind is far more powerful than you give it credit for, and its ability to shape your reality begins with a single decision to change the way you talk to yourself. The truth is, most people don't realize how much their inner dialogue controls their lives. It's so automatic, so ingrained, that it often goes unnoticed. But the words you repeatedly think and say to yourself are like seeds you plant in your subconscious. Over time, those seeds grow into habits, emotions, and behaviors. A single thought might seem insignificant, but when it's repeated over days, months, or years, it becomes a deeply rooted belief. If your self-talk is filled with thoughts like "I'm not good enough, I always mess things up," or "this is just the way things are," you're planting seeds of limitation. You're programming your brain to look for evidence that supports those beliefs, and you're creating a reality that reflects them. But here's the empowering part. Just as your brain learns through repetition, it can also unlearn. Science shows us that the brain is not fixed, it's adaptable and constantly rewiring itself in response to your thoughts, emotions, and actions. This process, known as neuroplasticity, means that no matter how long you've been stuck in negative self-talk, you can change it. By intentionally choosing empowering, positive thoughts, you can create new neural pathways that lead to a different, better version of yourself. In just a few days of consistent practice, you can start to feel the shift, subtle at first, but undeniably real. It begins with catching yourself in those moments when negativity creeps in and making the conscious decision to rewrite the script. Imagine this for just 3 days. You commit to speaking to yourself like you would to someone you love and believe in. You replace self-criticism with encouragement, doubt with confidence, and fear with faith in your own abilities. When you feel yourself slipping into old patterns, you pause, take a breath, and say something different. Instead of, "I'll never get this right," you tell yourself, "I'm learning and I'll figure it out." Instead of, "I can't do this," you remind yourself, "I am capable and resourceful." These small shifts in language might not seem life-changing in the moment, but they are the foundation of transformation. What happens when you talk to yourself like this isn't just psychological, it's physiological. Your body responds to your thoughts. When you engage in positive self-talk, your brain releases chemicals that elevate your mood and energy. You feel lighter, more confident, and more focused. Your posture changes, your breathing deepens, and you move through the day with a sense of calm assurance. This isn't magic, it's biology. Your brain and body are interconnected, and the way you think has a direct impact on how you feel and act. Over time, as you continue to practice positive self-talk, these changes become more profound. Your default state shifts from stress and self-doubt to peace and self-belief. The beauty of this process is that it doesn't require perfection. You don't have to eliminate every single negative thought or be flawlessly positive all the time. All it takes is the willingness to try, to notice when you're falling into old habits and gently guide yourself back to a more empowering perspective. Every time you choose a positive thought, you're reinforcing the new neural pathways you're building. You're teaching your brain that this is the new normal, the new way of being. And the more you practice, the stronger those pathways become until they start to feel natural, even automatic. For 3 days, make a commitment to yourself. Start each morning by setting the tone with affirmations. Look in the mirror and say, "I am enough. I am capable. I am worthy of all the good things life has to offer." Throughout the day, when challenges arise or doubt creeps in, remind yourself, "I can handle this. I faced hard things before, and I've grown stronger because of them." Before you go to sleep, take a moment to reflect on your wins, no matter how small they seem. Gratitude is a powerful force that amplifies the effects of positive self-talk, reinforcing the belief that you are moving in the right direction. This practice might feel awkward at first. You might even hear that inner critic trying to convince you that it's pointless or silly. But don't let that stop you. Growth is uncomfortable at first, but it's also the only way to break free from the limitations of your old patterns. Stick with it. Remind yourself that you're not just changing the way you think, you're changing the way you feel, the way you act, and ultimately the reality you create. The more you practice, the more you'll notice the changes. You'll feel more confident, more hopeful, and more in control of your life. The transformation you seek is already within you, waiting for you to unlock it. All it takes is a decision to start. Talk to yourself like the person you aspire to become. Speak to yourself with the love, encouragement, and belief you would give to a dear friend. Do it for just 3 days and watch how the world around you begins to reflect the changes happening within you. This is the power of your mind, and it's yours to harness. You are capable of more than you know, and it all starts with the way you choose to speak to yourself. Your inner dialogue is one of the most powerful forces shaping your life. Every thought, every belief, and every word you say to yourself carries an energy that influences how you feel, how you act, and the reality you create. The way you speak to yourself isn't just idle chatter, it's the foundation of your emotions, your decisions, and your outcomes. Most people spend their days locked in repetitive patterns of self-doubt, worry, and negativity, often unaware of the profound impact these thoughts have on their lives. But here's the truth: you are not bound by this cycle. You have the power to break free. You have the power to take control of your internal narrative and rewrite the story you tell yourself. When you do this, even for just a few days, you'll begin to feel the shift, a lightness, a strength, and a sense of possibility you might have forgotten was within you. Science has shown that the brain is incredibly adaptive. It's not a rigid, fixed organ, it's malleable and constantly rewiring itself in response to your thoughts and experiences. This process, called neuroplasticity, means that you are not stuck with the habits or thought patterns you've developed over the years. You can change them, but change doesn't happen passively, it requires intention. The thoughts you think most frequently become the neural pathways that your brain strengthens. Negative self-talk reinforces feelings of fear, inadequacy, and frustration, creating a loop that becomes harder to break the longer it goes unchallenged. But the opposite is also true. When you choose positive, empowering thoughts, you start to carve out new pathways, ones that lead to confidence, optimism, and resilience. Imagine what your life could look like if, for just 3 days, you committed to talking to yourself differently. Instead of criticizing yourself for every mistake, you praised yourself for your efforts. Instead of focusing on what you lack, you celebrated what you have. Instead of replaying your fears, you affirmed your strengths. It might sound simple, but this one change in how you communicate with yourself can have a profound effect on your state of mind and the energy you bring to the world. This isn't about ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to focus on what empowers you instead of what drains you. It's about becoming your own greatest supporter, the voice in your head that reminds you of your worth and potential instead of tearing you down. The way you speak to yourself not only shapes your thoughts, but also impacts your emotions and even your body. Think about a time when you were overwhelmed by self-doubt or fear. Your chest might have tightened, your breathing became shallow, and your energy felt drained. That's the power of your inner dialogue in action. But the reverse is also true. When you talk to yourself with confidence and encouragement, your body responds in kind. Your posture improves, your breathing becomes steady, and you feel a surge of energy and optimism. These aren't just fleeting moments, they're evidence of the profound connection between your mind and body. When you speak to yourself in a way that aligns with who you want to become, you set off a chain reaction that influences your emotions, your actions, and ultimately your reality. For 3 days, imagine being fully intentional with your self-talk. Start each morning by setting the tone for your day. As you wake up, instead of letting your mind drift into worry or negativity, take a moment to affirm your intentions. Say to yourself, I am strong. I am capable. I am open to the opportunities this day will bring throughout the day. When challenges arise or you catch yourself slipping into self-doubt, pause and consciously reframe your thoughts. Replace I can't do this with I'm figuring this out. Replace this is too hard with I've overcome challenges before, and I'll do it again. These small shifts in language might feel subtle, but they carry immense power. They create new emotional states, ones that are rooted in hope and possibility rather than fear and limitation. In just 3 days of this practice, you may begin to notice changes. At first, they might be subtle, a moment of calm in a stressful situation, a sense of ease where there was once resistance, or a glimmer of confidence in a moment of doubt. But as you continue, these shifts will grow. You'll start to feel lighter, more focused, and more in control of your emotions and actions. You might even notice how the people around you respond to the energy you're bringing into the room. This is the ripple effect of choosing to speak to yourself in a way that uplifts and empowers you. The beauty of this practice is that it doesn't require perfection. It's not about eliminating every negative thought or becoming a relentlessly positive person overnight. It's about making the conscious choice, moment by moment, to guide your thoughts in a direction that serves you. It's about giving yourself permission to be human while still striving to become the best version of yourself. Every time you catch yourself falling into old patterns and choose a new thought instead, you're strengthening those new neural pathways. You're teaching your brain that this is the new standard, the new way of being. The transformation starts with a decision to no longer accept the limits of your old self-talk. Talk to yourself like someone who believes in you. Speak to yourself with the love and encouragement you would give to someone you care deeply about. For 3 days, make this commitment and watch what happens. You'll not only feel the difference within yourself, but you'll also start to see the world around you respond to the changes you're making. The power is already within you, waiting to be unleashed. All it takes is the choice to begin. The words you speak to yourself every day are the foundation of your reality. They shape how you see yourself, how you respond to challenges, and how you interact with the world. Most people go through life unaware of the constant dialogue running through their minds, an inner voice that can either build them up or tear them down. For many, this voice leans toward criticism, fear, and doubt, replaying old patterns of negativity. But the incredible truth is that you have the power to rewrite this script. You can transform your inner voice from a source of limitation into your greatest ally, and when you do, the world around you begins to shift in extraordinary ways. For just 3 days, if you commit to speaking to yourself with kindness, encouragement, and belief, you'll begin to see how profoundly your thoughts can influence your life. The science behind this transformation is clear. Your brain is wired to adapt and change based on your thoughts and experiences. Every time you think a thought, it fires a network of neurons in your brain. When you think the same thought repeatedly, those neural connections become stronger, creating well-worn pathways that influence your habits, emotions, and beliefs. This is why negative self-talk can feel so automatic. It's a habit that's been reinforced over time. However, the same mechanism that creates these pathways can also rewire them. By consciously choosing new, empowering thoughts, you begin to weaken the old patterns and strengthen new ones. This process, known as neuroplasticity, means that no matter how long you've been stuck in self-doubt or negativity, you can change your mindset and create a new reality. Imagine the impact of replacing your inner criticism with encouragement. Picture catching yourself in a moment of self-doubt, maybe after making a mistake or facing a challenge, and instead of saying, "I'm not good enough," or "I always mess things up," you tell yourself, "I'm learning and every experience is helping me grow." Think about how different it would feel to wake up in the morning and instead of focusing on your worries or to-do list, affirm, "Today is full of opportunities and I am ready to embrace them." These shifts may seem small, but they carry immense power. Every positive thought you choose reinforces a new neural pathway, rewiring your brain to expect success, possibility, and growth. The way you talk to yourself doesn't just stay in your mind, it affects your emotions, your body, and even the energy you bring into the world. When your inner dialogue is filled with positivity, your body responds by releasing feel-good chemicals like dopamine and serotonin. You feel more energized, your stress levels decrease, and you approach life with greater confidence. This isn't just a mental exercise, it's a physiological shift that changes how you move through the world. Over time, as you continue to speak to yourself in this empowering way, these effects compound. You begin to notice that you're more resilient in the face of challenges, more focused on your goals, and more at peace with yourself. For just 3 days, commit to becoming hyper-aware of your self-talk. Start each day by setting a powerful intention for how you want to feel and act. Stand in front of a mirror, look yourself in the eye, and say, "I am strong, I am capable, I am worthy of the life I desire." Throughout the day, pay attention to the thoughts that arise, especially in moments of stress or doubt. When you catch yourself thinking something negative, pause and reframe it. Instead of "I can't handle this," say, "I am resourceful and will find a way." Instead of "I'm not ready," remind yourself, "Every step I take prepares me for success." At night, reflect on the day and acknowledge your wins, no matter how small. Gratitude is a powerful tool that amplifies positivity and helps you focus on what's going right. The first day of this practice might feel awkward or forced, and that's okay. Change is uncomfortable at first because it's unfamiliar. But as you continue, you'll notice subtle shifts, moments when you feel lighter, calmer, and more focused. By the second or third day, these changes become more apparent. You might find yourself approaching challenges with greater confidence, letting go of stress more easily, or even feeling more connected to the people around you. These shifts are not coincidences, they're the result of your deliberate choice to speak to yourself in a way that uplifts and empowers you. This practice is not about ignoring reality or pretending that life is perfect. It's about choosing to focus on what serves you rather than what holds you back. It's about taking control of your inner dialogue and using it as a tool to create the life you want. Every time you choose an empowering thought, you're building the foundation for a more confident, resilient, and joyful version of yourself. Over time, this becomes your new normal, a default state of self-belief and optimism. Talk to yourself as if you were speaking to someone you love deeply. Offer yourself the same kindness, encouragement, and support that you would give to a dear friend or a child. For 3 days, make this commitment to yourself. Watch how your thoughts influence your emotions, your actions, and the energy you bring into the world. The transformation begins the moment you decide to take control of your inner voice. You are more powerful than you realize, and it all starts with how you choose to speak to yourself. This small shift has the potential to create profound change, and all it takes is your willingness to try.